is to talk about what you just saw on the screen there. And the question you might be asking is, why should you go to Tallahassee? You might be asking yourself, is this too little, too late? You might be saying, maybe we should just stay home and send some emails and make some phone calls. All of these are good ideas. So there's a very specific reason we want you to go to Tallahassee. So, but before we do that, Debbie, could you talk a little bit about what we already have in place with regard to the 400 people that are on the call one day? Tell a little bit about that, and then that way we can show why the Tallahassee piece is very critical right now.
Yes, Raj, thank you so much. So Call One Day has about 450 plus subscribers, and these are callers that are making a phone call every day, a scripted phone call to their local and legislative officials and Governor DeSantis and a few others. This is important because one call equals about 100 votes, silent majority. So we're doing that already. And we're also have teams that have gone to the Capitol, but we just feel that our voices are not being heard. And we're in dire straits at this point. It's either we get this done right or we lose.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt that there's election unsecurity. I'm not even going to call it integrity these days. And so what have we accomplished? And so the legislators need to know that the people are very dissatisfied. They're so dissatisfied about this situation that they are willing to get on a bus, get in their cars, and drive to the Capitol. So that's why it's so important.
So the message that we have to convey is this bill has to be framed as it is correctly, which is a toxic bill. This bill is poison for the state of Florida. Now, so you see what we have happening right now. Now, when you think of the trip to Tallahassee, I want you to have a little bit of context. Number one, when this happens, we will be live streaming the people that are there and putting that out via live stream. So we are attempting to take whoever is in Tallahassee on the day that we choose and making this a national event. We already have traction. Several people have been on several shows. The Stone Zone, Likely Stu Peters, Ann Vandersteel, and Debbie has been on some shows. So we have that campaign going. Your presence in Tallahassee works this way. Number one, we're all there. We're either wearing the same colored shirt or a armband with that same color. We're conducting ourselves in a professional manner, obviously, very courteous, obviously. And we need to let the public know that this bill is toxic. This bill is poisonous. The reason that's important, because frankly, that avenue is more available to us than the avenue of making amendments at this late stage. So this is why the presence is there. Now, assuming that we are able to achieve that objective, then we are in a position that the politicians, all the way up to the biggest office in the state of Florida, will be motivated to distance themselves from this bill and will be motivated to make this bill ineffective, whatever terminology that, whatever method that is, and there's several methods available to Tallahassee to do that. That is where we need you to go to Tallahassee for this one day, for this particular event, and make a showing. Now, the social media component will take your activity and expand on it. We've already had teams meet with the legislators one-on-one. Many of the legislators know that something like this is cooking. And so your arrival is a demonstration of how vast the dissatisfaction is of this bill. Now, if you want to get more specifics on what these bills are, please text the word RON to 91776. You can see it above my head there. Text the word RON to 91776. You can also go to defendflorida.org. I'm going to mention one item, and then I'm going to ask Debbie to mention two items in our next 30 seconds or so you understand how critical this is. We all look at California and New York and we say, man, those are just bad states. How do you think they got there? How they got there is exactly what happened here, except in those states, when what's happening now happened there, the people were asleep and they allowed it to happen. Why I made that comparison is this bill, this Senate Bill 7050, this bill has a provision that blocks the work that we did last year. So Defend Florida and many other groups canvassed, our group in particular canvassed 32 counties, spoke to thousands of people. We took documentation, we brought it to our officials. They were not obligated to accept our documentation, but we were able to submit it, and some of them looked at it and considered it. This bill would make that illegal. This bill says that only a government official could participate in list maintenance, could show issues, could show problems using only official information. You know what that is? That's communism. This bill is that, and it's weeks away from becoming law. So if you're looking at, do I need to go to Tallahassee? That's what's on the line. Debbie, why don't you give two other items? We've got tons of them, but why don't you give two other items that are so egregious?
You know, another item that's super egregious is the fact that we have to be official to report. Like, as of my presence, knowing that a marina that has 80 registered voters and 20 slips is not enough. So Raj is alluding to that. There's other issues regarding citizenship, proper verification, vote by mail. No, there are not enough provisions to secure the vote by mail. And there's just list after list of issues that are associated with this bill that, you know, frankly, the legislature had the report from Defend Florida from last year. We've all seen 2,000 Mules. We have so many groups, so many citizens that have been at their supervisors of elections, have noted the processes and procedures that are just, they know they're not secure. And how is that being failed to address? I just cannot believe that we find ourselves in this situation 2 years after. And you know what? It's because there is an agenda that is very, very deliberate to turn this country into a Venezuela on steroids. We have knowledge that certain language that we found in this bill is being found in other states. So you know that this isn't something that just organically spread out. This is something that is very deliberate. And we have to show up. At least we have to do our very best to do what we can do right now. So thank you, Raj. And I really want to encourage everybody to make the trip.
So Debbie just mentioned 2,000 Mules. So obviously people are going to be watching for that this coming election. If this bill passes, do you think that the organizations that have all that cell phone data, all that tracking, do you think that any of that will make any difference in Florida? If they're not a government official and it's not official information, it's not going to be considered. So that's how high the stakes are. And that's why it's critical that you go up over to Tallahassee. If you want more information, text the word Ron to 91776. If you want, you can also go to defendflorida.org. And if you go to defendflorida.org, Debbie's pointing. Debbie, you're pointing to Substack. Go ahead and tell people about that.
Yeah, I'm doing a play-by-play, day-by-day, little information update on prayingmantis.substack.com. There you will find the text of the letter that we sent to DeSantis with the 40 or so organizations that endorsed it. And you'll just find, information that I have as this situation unfolds on a literally daily basis.
Go to prayingmantis.substack.com. And if you go to defendflorida.org, what you'll see there is you will see the list of concerns, you'll see Senate bill, and so you can get a little bit more information there. But I hope we've answered the question, which is it worth the immense time and investment for you to actually travel to Tallahassee? What can actually be accomplished? Again, to recap, by you being there and us live streaming what you're there and having that coverage on national media outlets, yes, your presence there can expand the weight of this message at a level that we cannot do simply by emailing and visiting with our legislators, all of which we're already doing. Text the word Ron to 91776 for more information. We so appreciate it. Thank you, Debbie, for helping me explain all that. And we hope to see you all in Tallahassee very soon.